So we need some, as I called it in the army, evasive action, because as I noticed, full one-third of the Chinese population is now in the museum. If you count them up, you will find 263 million people. So we may have to go take our evasive action. We will start, I mean, they're going to go through pretty quickly, but not quickly enough to suit us. So we're going to start here anyway in the pre-dynastic. That's funny, object of the mind. So this is a very good example, but not the very best example of one of those hollowed out stone vases. This one right here is made of a green schist, which takes a beautiful finish. It's very hard, but carves relatively easy. It's not full of granular quartz crystals or anything like that. Nevertheless, the thickness of the vase, of the walls of the vase, are about the same as the thickness of the lip of the rim. So you look at it and you see it's got a hole about this size down it. Now, how they hollow that out, this is a big serious mystery that, needless to say, no one addresses. There are other instances of it in other museums, not here, where it's even more extreme, where it's like a chemistry flask, where it goes like this with a narrow going up like this. What they serve, why they did this in the first place, is a big mystery, which question nobody asks. And then another thing is that these are all found, these are pre-dynastic finds, but just about everything else that's pre-dynastic, or of that era, 3500, 4000 BC, is rather but relatively crude pottery and things of that nature. The two seems difficult that the two come from the same era or the same society or whatever. A good friend of mine suggested, and it was a good suggestion, that if these are not smashed or broken and they're taken care of, they're here forever. In other words, they don't weather. And it may be that these are heirlooms handed down and down and down over the ages, thousands of years. The Vedas and things like that, the texts are handed down exact over thousands of years, so why not stone bowls? Could be, it's a possibility. The main thing, as far as I'm concerned, is why the devil they did them in the first place. I mean, you can't use that to pour milk out, or you wouldn't want to. And you notice, by the way, that it is one, the handle isn't attached, it's integral. So, marvels of ancient Egypt that people don't ask about. Look at that porphyry, little porphyry bowl. This is a kind of a miracle in its own right. Great stuff. Anyway, let's see. Another thing here. Who was I talking to yesterday? Donna. Where's Donna? Yeah, about flint, working flint mapping. This flint knife, this flint sword or knife or whatever it is an amazing piece of flint mapping. Philip Laporta, our geologist who was coming around with us, looked at that and said, well, that's just almost incredible that they could arrive at that shape, at that level of perfection, and the curve to it, just chipping off pieces of flint. This is a high work of art. It's called Cross, because there's some interesting stuff, and I'm keeping fairly careful tabs of time, because we can't do our usual, normally we do 2.5 hours of wandering around after the hour of free time. Can't do that today. We're going to just have to cut it a bit short, but Gamal was worth it. What time is it?
2:47.
2:47. We want to get out of here. We started at, what time did we start here? We started here at 2:30.
The dog.
So we want to, till 4. We want to cut it short at 4. Yeah.
4 and a change.
4 mostly. We'll be flagging at 4 anyway.
Do you want to do this or
Yes.
that first?
No, this first. Okay, now, little things of interest here, some of major interest. This is all early dynastic, pre-dynastic, and you see, I mean, the quality of the workmanship is pretty spectacular. What am I looking for? Where's that bull? There's an ostraka here.
A bull?
The bull, here. I mean, that would have made Picasso proud. Actually, that bull. That's a great bull. Over here, they think that these are spinning tops. There's a spindle goes in like this. They're not. They're actually. When I lived on Ibiza all those years, the peasant woman would, have raw wool and then have a skein of wool and a bobbin, and that's exactly what it is. They spin that around and it draws the thread down. And the good weavers, I mean, it comes out to be a pretty cool thread. Over here, this is pre-dynastic. You see a sabu chasing, Wiesenhound chasing rabbits. It's sort of fun when you spin it. Anyway, these are, where's the lion? Oh, over there. See, a crystal lion over there. This is not trifling work. Yeah, I mean, getting rock crystal to that level with no real refined tools is pretty amazing. This is again very early dynastic, and look at the quality of the detail that's carved into that little palette. Over here is a game, maybe a forerunner, an early forerunner of chess called Senet. We sometimes see that inscribed into the walls of the tombs. And recently, I understand, I haven't checked it through, they've actually discovered the rules of Senet, which they didn't know. And they have Senet games, you can buy them. This over here is a game. The tortoise is one of the constellations. It also has to do with time, and the objective of this, they think, I don't know if they actually know, is throwing dice, and you proceed around, all the way around. You see the back of the tortoise is all of these different little pieces. I bet if you count them up, you'll get some sort of a time commensurate number, and the objective is to get to the still center, which esoterically represents.
And it has a snake, a serpent.
Which the serpent is one of the time related symbols that they use from time to eternity. Now look over here. This. Who knew that they had doctors with awe sticks? You got a sore throat. You go, that's a pre-dynastic awe stick. I never noticed that before. Yes.
The lions are so beautifully made. Look at the detail, all in ivory.
Lions are great. They're in ivory, and they're not sphinxes. They're lions. Which is interesting in its own right. Early dynastic game sets.
Yellow.
Okay, yellow to the. No, let's go to the first side. Oh. Who's got what's it? Good flashlight, right?
Here.
Yeah, master of the flashlight. Okay, this is called the Narmer palette. Narmer was one of the names, evidently, of Mina, who discovered the hotel. And this is one of his other names, and this is an armor palette, so it's First Dynasty. And it's supposedly for grinding antimony, which is used for
Coal.
coal. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Who wanted coal?
I got
They got it. Oh, okay. Well, I remembered that somebody wanted it, and I forgot it. And here, again, remember early dynasty. Here, these are the symbols already in place and refined. Over there, what I'm directing to is symbols of the various gnomes. Over
And
here,
the beheaded enemies here, John. Enemies.
and the beheaded enemies already there, the enemies of Ra. It's thought, actually, by a couple of Egyptologists, that the cow's heads here at the top represent Hathor, and with it Hathor is female, the cow, but the age of Taurus, which precedes the age of Aries and Ammon. So the cow-headed palette could have an astronomical significance. That's an Egyptologist who was saying that, not just us.
And then the other side?
Wait, hold on a second. Then you have this very strange four-legged creature with a long neck twined with cheetah heads, and some of the unicorns think that it's an ancestral memory of the time that the dinosaurs ruled the earth. This is not impossible, but it's probably improbable. But what you do get here, and I mean this is the founder of the Egyptian dynasties, and that figure is a double helix, which subsequently gets used in the symbols for eternity, and they know what sperm cells look like, so it may have that significance of the founding element of all of organic life is the double helix. Now let's see, can we get around the side? Or does it matter? No, it's all right.
It's the king. Narmer here is wearing the other crown, the white crown. So for the first time in the history that we know, there is one king wearing the white and the red crown. So Egypt got unified. That's 3200 BC, founder of the first dynasty. All right? That's more or less. What do you could check
we really don't. We have to continue to the gradient to get to our term. What?
You want the pyramid first?
Yeah, pyramid first. Of course.
然后反进再下去，包住那个木乃伊原来。
This is the pyramidion, which is the topmost. The top of the pyramid itself. In this case, this is the top of one of the Middle Kingdom pyramids, the mud brick pyramids, found pretty much intact with the inscription on it. Now, the question is, was this ever covered in electrum? We don't know. You'd think, I don't know that much about these things, but anybody know their chemistry here? Should it be possible to determine with sort of fine through a fine microscope or whatever, if it ever had a coating on it? You think?
I mean, if you took a chip off of it, you could test it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't want to take a chip off.
John?
Yeah, you need
But this is on the pyramid. You don't have to put electrum on the pyramid. The one on the obelisk they were covered.
Well, maybe, but maybe.
Maybe gold.
Maybe. Anyway, you don't see any residue or anything like that. But anyway, you see, this is okay. Now over here, this is a very important and unique coffin lid, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Here is the sarcophagus.
The sarcophagus. So here you see neat. They mirrored it. The roof of the lid has Nuke the Sky stretched across it with all of the hieroglyphs and all. This is a pretty elegant piece of work. Does it say New Kingdom? My guess is that it's New Kingdom. And here you have, this is
the deceased in Osiris form. That's not the one you drawn.
They used to have it.
Yeah, but it's changed.
There used to be, when I was looking, I was wondering, this looks different. There was another one that had Osiris with the erect
you know what?
palace.
It's here. It's taken. They're sitting right here. That was here.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was there. They
Yes.
moved it somewhere.
I think it's upstairs around to the left. There's another new coffin
one?
lid.
Yeah,
up there.
But does it have
With Isis.
Osiris with his erect palace and the falcon
Don't know.
and Isis sitting on it? It used to be over there. Who knows?
Okay, let's go.
Anyway,
Okay.
let's go.
Susan? He's the one.
This is the real Zosa. We saw an imposter in the Serdar in Saqqara. This is the real article, and you see
The color is still there.
it's relatively crudely realized, but nevertheless it's got some power to it. Right? This is an old kingdom, third dynasty, wooden triptych, carved in raised relief, which is of course the hardest kind of carving to do. And this is a nobleman named Hesirah, his titles are, it shows him three, younger and older. Where's he young? Here, there he's young.
Look at his hair, curly.
Yeah, and dark.
Different hair.
Different hair.
And mustache now.
Here, I realize. But you look, this is pretty early. It's carved in wood, which is, difficult to get as precise as stone, and very elegant. And he has, among his titles is Chief of the Dentists, which means they had dentists in the Third Dynasty. I would prefer to go to my 21st century dentist than his Third Dynasty dentist. But otherwise, there's a lot about the Third Dynasty that I think I might enjoy rather more than the 21st. So, along here,
Yeah.
This is Menkaura, builder of the third pyramid, supposedly, though we're inclined to think the refurbisher of the third pyramid. And you see, this is exquisite sculpture, and he's flanked. Menkaura himself, obviously, wearing the
chest stone, very hard.
Schist, again schist, that takes that beautiful finish. Wearing the bowling pin of the south, and on one side is Hathor, whoever Hathor with the queen carriages in the square. And this is the deity, the goddess of the moon, which is the known of Vendera. You can tell by the stand above that. And you see the little details here that somebody could do something interesting with. He's striding forward. He is in action. Left, right, left, forward. She is completely stationary, passive receptive. She has one foot in front of the other. You can be sure that that's just not an accident. The sculptor saying, well, I wanted to do a little bit of variation here. There's some reason why she's doing it. And you see the dresses, obviously, they were into the see-through and the cling, because little is concealed, which is as it should be. Let us continue.
Well, Menkara was represented 40 times with every province deity. So this is Dendana, and this is Luxor. You said?
No, just better if you just tell me about
طيب صح صح.
Okay, here is Menkara again, and Hathor again in motion, and here is the Neter, the god of, I forget which one this is, of Luxor, and he's this little guy, actually, and he's in motion too, with his left leg forward. Why he should be portrayed as a little guy, he's a god, I don't know, but again, there's some reason for it.
Do you want to go for that?
What? No, let's.
احمد يا احمد بيرد عليك يا احمد.
Here's an interesting tableau here of my dog, Tabu, going after a fox, grabbing him by the tail. Whether or not they would actually do that, I guess they would, but he better act fast, because the fox is going to be at him pretty quickly. He knows he's got to move. And a couple of other foxes that they're hunting. I've never seen one anywhere else of the dogs hunting foxes. I mean, they'll hunt anything that moves, but I've never seen another one fox. I can't get used to being able to hear me talking in a less than monotone voice. Okay, this is, I think I mentioned this somewhere along the line on the trip. This is a real major lesson in the esoteric art, because, okay, this is Khafra. This is the one that was found upside down in the Valley Temple, and it is, by anybody's reckoning, one of the great masterpieces of Egyptian sculpture or anybody else's sculpture. This is carved out of a particular kind of diorite that glows in the semi-light. Remember when we were in the Valley Temple and you saw the indirect light, the roof had been on it, and indirect lighting coming in the temple. And these statues, there would have been others, would have been glowing in the semi-dark. Now, the interesting bit here is you look at it from head on, and you see a regal figure of a king, but he doesn't look any different from anyone else in that pose and with that kind of sculpture, that level of sculpture doing the statue. It's only when you get around on the side that here that you realize that we get the lesson. The falcon, the king is the falcon, is the Horus in his lifetime. And you see that it's so artfully done. They always say, Horus is protecting the king. The king doesn't need any protection. But the message there is that the king has attained Horus consciousness, which is invisible. You don't see it from the front. Only when you get to the side do you realize that he is symbolically, at any rate, an initiated, divine human being. And it's brilliant because you see it's perfect. The wings come right to the edge of the headdress, and you only from behind or the side do you get the message that this is somebody special. And this is, of course, another very well done union of upper and lower Egypt. If this were in an auction somewhere, I'd bid on it. Now over here, let's see, where are we? Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's fine. We're going to leave it. What time did you say we're going to leave? 4. Did you say 4? Yeah. That's fine. Okay. Now, a little bit more on the whole effacing thing. This is a squatting scribe, and it's in the Old Kingdom that they had perfectly realized this ability to make inlaid eyes out of 4 different kinds of quartz crystal, which is very difficult rock to work. See the eyes gray actually here, sometimes blue, sometimes brown, probably depending on who this character was, a squatting scribe. Somebody was out to get him because they knocked off his little beard, he would have had as a nobleman, and they cut off his leg down here. That's not just accidental, somebody's knocked it off. So somebody's out for revenge against this guy. What's peculiar is that in the inlaid eyes that look back at you, according to Schwaller, was not just proof of, exquisite, extremely sophisticated ability to work a hard stone, but also that they must have known about the reflective and the refractive properties of the eye itself in order to put the rock together in such a way that you had an eye that looked back at you. It's only in the last, 50, 75 years that we've been able to do that with whatever they make glass eyes out of nowadays, I don't know. But anyway, and then by the New Kingdom, they virtually lost all of this. There's almost no inlaid eyes from the New Kingdom, and then it disappears altogether. And once you see these things, it's funny, but sculpture loses a lot of its power. Even the best of Michelangelo and Donatello and all of those guys, all the statues are blind. Greek statuary, it's all blind. And once you see these, you wonder why, to this day, anybody doing a bust of somebody could do this. Why not? Because it has a vivacity and a lifelike quality that blind statues don't have. So who knows? Over here, this is a really special one over here.
When you talk,
This is carved in wood. Whenever they're carving in organic material, wood or ivory, almost the only two that they carve in, there's a certain, they allow themselves more lifelike expressions. So this one, if this were a regular statue, the king, it would be far more ceremonial, sort of symmetrical. And here this is obviously an older guy with a pot belly. It doesn't do his isogenic, so to tell him that he could get rid of that pot. Fantastic inlaid eyes. Fantastic inlaid eyes.
They look back to you.
His name is, nobody knows what his name is. I don't think they know, do they?
Kibra, yeah.
Oh, they do know.
Yeah.
But they call him the Sheikh of the Lead, which means the Sheikh of the village,
Ka'ab is his name.
because he looks like the Sheikh of the village at that time that they discovered it. And when they discovered, I think this one, or maybe it's other ones, but when the workers came across these things in the late 19th century or so, and all of a sudden they're digging away, and this statue comes looking back at them out of the grave. They got terrified and ran away.
Especially the next couple.
Yeah, I can't say I blame them. That's pretty scary if you're a worker. And even look at the way there's the heft of the body, the fold of the belt. All of these details would be different on a stone statue of a king. Where are we going now?
Next, Nefertari. ماشي؟
More masterful sculpture. This is Rahotep, who's a son of Khufu, I think.
Yes.
And captain of the army. And his wife, no threat. His name means beauty, and she's not bad. And the great inlaid eyes again.
Those two, when the workers broke into the tomb and they found them facing them and the lights were on the eyes, they thought they are ghosts or buried alive, and they are really amazing in color and all. It's still 4th dynasty old kingdom. About 2640 BC. See his color and her color. We talked about this, the yellow and the red, masculine and
Part
feminine.
of the reason given why the men were always in red was that they were out working in the sun and the women were staying home all the time. It's so good, that's what they say.
Yeah, no, of course you know better. Yeah, because there are some Nubian women that are normally dark. They also represent them in the yellow form because this is woman, man. The lack of the masculine hormone, the hormone, I think it's a testosterone or something.
Testosterone or something.
Yeah, most of it in hemoglobin makes red cells. So, and the lack of it is yellow. Anyway, she has her real hair under the wig, as if saying, I am pretty, because they had to wear wigs for their class. And he has a mustache, very modern cut of hair, and a scarab. And his titles are written in the back. He was son of the king from his own flesh and blood, Rahotep. And he was the prince of the army, the general. You see the army, the man with the bow and arrows. And he was the priest, the great priest of Ra. Yeah, the Werit Imahu. He's the priest of Ra in Heliopolis.
That's
so
a pretty,
he's getting great.
it's a pretty unimpressive mustache, I must say.
Yeah, yours is far, but
This is the funerary furniture of Queen Hepatitis, who was the wife of Seneferu, who was supposedly the builder of the Joshua Pyramid. The mother of Khufu. All of the stuff, some of it in perfect condition, some of it I think destroyed, was buried in a tomb with no Hephaestus near the Great Pyramid. We're forgetting like we have nothing down there, and I think that's not public. But what's interesting about this to me is the disparity in style. I mean, when you compare the purity of this, the clean lines, and behind here the canopied bed. I mean, just look at that. Everything is simple. When you compare that to the Tutankhamun stuff, fantastic as it may be, it's decadent. And this has got a line and the purity to it, and generally speaking, style, any kind of style, is a signature of its age, of its period. I mean, it is no accident now that an awful lot of guys walk around in hoodies, you know, with the crack of their rear showing. I mean, this is not for no reason. This is emblematic of the time. Over here is something really. Did anybody, when you had free time, did anybody notice this statue? Anybody at all? You did see it? Because this is the only known statue or sculpture of Khufu, the great egotist who built the Great Pyramid. This is all that's left. I mean, I'm sure there were plenty of colossal statues around, you know, befitting his kingdom, but it's a very odd thing. Was this ivory? I'm not sure.
Yes. It is ivory.
It is ivory, yeah. So that, it's just ironic that the Great Pyramid, you know, arguably the biggest, most spectacular sculpture on earth, its founder, its main builder, this little statue. As I said, I'm sure that's purely an accident of, you know, the gods. They're not even trying to get even. It's just an accident. Sorry, dog. Hungry.
John,
Yeah.
do you want the seat of Hephaestus? The seat?
The what?
This one?
The sedan chair. No,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Let's go to Metri.
One thing over here. Look at who's got the flashlight. Who's got the flashlight?
Suhaila.
Alaska.
Oh, Celeste.
Yes. Give him.
Just stick it in your bag.
Look at the inlaid tail on the curtain rings. That's serious.
What are those?
Those are the curtain rings with a
Oh, I see.
with the curtain that would have surrounded the bed. And that, I don't know what that's for. Curtain rods or curtains themselves? With a long thin chest. Anyway, let us go. Make oh, me too. Yes, me too.
order of that first?
This is Mitri the scribe, and we didn't mention it. I probably could have forgot. But yesterday when we were in Aswan, I don't know if you won't remember, but the guy who's our rep down there looks remarkably like this scribe, and in fact lots of Egyptians look, I recognize him often in 2 seconds that so-and-so looks like so-and-so. At one point there was actually one of the dervish dancers that looked incredibly like this. But this is Mitri the scribe as a young man here, which is really a spectacular wooden sculpture. I mean, there's a tremendous sensitivity in his face. And over here, the fidelity of the Egyptian sculptors to reality. Mitri is a scribe, and he's been out partying all night. He's got bloodshot eyes, that's for sure. Zoe would recognize him. Really? We know where that comes from, don't we, John? Okay, let's continue. This is what is the Mentuotep, right?
Yes, Middle Kingdom.
Middle Kingdom.
No more Old Kingdom.
Yeah, this is Middle Kingdom, and this is, as we saw in the Luxor Museum, one of them was a Mentuotep, the statue there, that was crude, or anyway, simple, but had a real pulse to it, a real power. This just looks crude. And out of proportion. I mean, there's enormous lower legs. Schwaller, I think, or somebody once commented that it might have been almost deliberate, emphasizing the foundation of the Middle Kingdom. Maybe, but it sure looks weird. Even so, simplified as it is, it has its own, let's say, sincerity isn't the word I'm looking for. It has its own authority.
Isphenia, John.
What?
Isphenia. No. This or the Sphinxes.
Yeah, the Sphinxes. These sphinxes are done by the Hyksos, who took over Egypt, as you know, in the Second Intermediate period, and ruled as pharaohs, and were not beloved by the Egyptians themselves. And they produced this art, which I think the Hyksos thought that the Hyksos were Turks, Anatolian. I'm not so sure about it. The style here is much more Babylonian, Assyrian, Mesopotamian, and there's a brutal power to this, mostly a consequence of the face, a normal Sphinx has a human head and a Sphinx and a lion body. Here it's entirely a lion body, including the names, and only face is human, and you get this totally different effect from it. But the Egyptians seem happy enough with it because the Egyptian pharaohs of the Middle Kingdom, when they took over, kept the statues and inscribed their own names in the cartouches and lived happily ever after. interesting piece of art history. Continue. Again, I'm hitting the highlights because we're going to run out of time. Two different pieces we're going to be out of here. Four. So, behind us, this one here. This is New Kingdom, I think.
It's New Kingdom.
It's New Kingdom. So this is one of the rare instances of inlaid eyes in the New Kingdom. And you see, these are gray eyes. My guess is what you see is what you get. And this is not King Ka, it's the Ka of the King, correct, Silas? Where are
I
you?
know what it is, but it must be a king because he's been gilded.
But it's Ka.
And yeah, that's the Ka of the king. So it's been disclosed.
Really?
Ripped off.
But see, he's got
Staff and the beard.
He's got the curved beard of divinity. And the sign above his head is the Ka. This is a very strange statue.
We did not find the name to know which.
This is a very weird statue. And you see he's nude, but he obviously had a kilt on. He was dressed. It's very strange, unique. Okay.
This one.
What? Oh, yeah. This is the great Queen Hatshepsut. Colossal statue. You recognize her in 2 seconds. And she has been reincarnated recently as my daughter Zoe. Look at it. See now Hatshepsut? Right? She doesn't mind.
The face.
He doesn't mind being Hatshepsut. I think it's rather cool myself. Where are you going, Todd? Oh, yeah.
With Aurora. Yeah.
Where's Celeste with my stick?
She's taking a picture.
Bearer of the stick. Where is she?
She has the picture. Do you want to see this? Go.
Thank you, Dane. Now, this shrine here was taken direct out of the monastery, right? Direct. So it must have been an inner shrine. And here another instance, but even a more exalted instance, more exalted than the cenote, remember the tomb of the head of the workman, because this is the queen. And you see the colors almost entirely intact here. So extrapolate from that the length and breadth of Egypt, and we got the picture. And here she is, Hathor in her form of cow, with, I don't think it's the queen, I think it's
Hotep, but the third, the grandson.
Oh, the grandson?
Because
right.
Tutmos is here. He's proud of his grandfather, the champion.
Right. Okay. Now, over here, going over here, the best of the block statues.
So that means the priest, the religion people, more powerful than the Pharaoh.
This is really, this is a tremendous piece of work. It's a block statue, and remember we said that to the academics, it's a money-saving device, because they don't want to carve out the whole statue. You sometimes wonder. This is Senmut, the Queen's great architect, who was a commoner, right? And he's the guardian of her little daughter, Neferurura, who's just the tip of the head surfacing from the stone. The message of spirit imprisoned in matter, and she's just a little spirit stepping out of the stone at her age here must be little, the baby. Anyway, that's another statue I buy at the sale.
small restoration.
Cheap enough.
Because all things
Over here, oh, okay. Amenhotep, son of Papu, the Imhotep of the New Kingdom of Amenhotep III, his great architect. Over here, very interesting, Rhea, the Set animal, Set himself in the form of his own animal, offering life and power to Horus. So you see, it's a circular thing, even though you read in the text the god of evil. No, it isn't like that. He's a great god in his own right. More interesting study. There he's offering the Yah to Horus, and there he's offering the Yah and the Wasat scepter to Horus. So somebody could do a very nice study on that, and why there is such a disparity. It could, for all I know, such a thing could even exist, but I've just not seen it. Over here, Amenhotep, son of Hapu, is a much older man. Pretty trim here. Over there, he's been plying his trade and not doing his laps. So he's got some excess poundage. This spectacular statue is like I know it's I thought that some believe the face to be that of Tutankhamun is representing the triad, the Amon, Mut, and Khonsu is their son. I don't know how they know that, actually, because he doesn't have the usual crown. But yeah, it's the same.
He looks very Khonsu to me.
Yeah, but it's thought to be the face of Tutankhamun.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a great masterpiece.
John, this one?
Wait, we'll just talk about that when you're in here.
Set?
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
The tablets that look like the shape of the Ten Commandments.
What are they? We're going
What's the
to.
origin of that shaped tablet?
What
Does
is
that have
it?
something to do with the
Seal,
media? Yes.
I don't know. It's been around
Let's go and see
forever
one.
and ever and ever. It's been around. And by the way, you know, appreciate this. I was in the sign a couple of years ago, up the mountain that supposedly is the mountain where Moses received the tablet. But it's disproved. One, as I know you know yourself, Jews don't carry down stone tablets from the mountain. They've got trusses to do that. So this is disproved to begin with, and then you have to. It's hard. It's not exactly repelling, but it's a tough climb up there. Jews they're off holiday and so on. Anyway, more Hatshepsut there at the end.
Yeah. Well, that's like a younger age
Maybe a
Hatshepsut.
younger Hatshepsut. I never noticed that before. There's a funny thing. I noticed, I'm not looking for anything different, especially. I'm showing the high points where I see things sometimes that I haven't noticed before, which is always fun.
John, what do you think of the misshapen heads of some of the sculptures?
Oh, that's the Akhenaten?
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea. They're quite deliberate. Again, you get unicorns on my paper. Oh, John, aliens. Well, how do we know the aliens had heads like that either? I do not know. The whole court, the entire court has, is shown what those misshapen heads. Maybe it's like they say in Spanish.
I'm here.
You're there. Do you think it's true that as Castilian Spanish, Spain acquired its list because Philip II
Acquire what?
You know, in Spanish, in Castilian Spanish,
Yeah.
the S is a TH.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, casa. You know, casa. I live in my casa, not my casa. Do you think it could be that the court took on the lisp rather than embarrass the king? I've heard that.
I'm not familiar.
Not familiar. Anyway, it's an interesting story. What?
It's not the S, it's the soft C only. Cebolla.
Yeah.
Never the S. So
Mi casa. No, you're right. Yeah. And it's the TH as in what? Give me an example.
cebolla for onion. Cebolla for
Cebolla. Yeah. Cebolla for onion. Right. Okay.
I thought they were altering the shape of the skulls of the young
No,
children.
but you can't get that form that way. You need that for conical. They have to go out like this.
Right.
This is not anatomically possible.
Do you think their head actually looked like that?
I don't know. Usually, when you get what you see is what you get. I don't know.
Can't tell from like
Reflect that. This is a better one to take, Joey. This is a better one, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Who's got the camera? Carlos. Hey, Carlos.
I'm here.
Yeah, get Zoe in profile against that picture.
You got it.
Profile. What do you got to do in profile?
I'm profile.
From the side.
Oh, I see.
Let's see how close.
We got it.
She's used to this anyways. I couldn't embarrass her to do something.
John, we need to say that this is a well-proportioned, in harmony way of doing, a statue of a sphinx. And this is one granite beautiful sphinx of Hatshepsut. There were 1,200 of them to do the avenue between her temple and her palace in the West Bank. Yeah? And they were all broken and damaged. This one was covered in sand.
They had a factory, Sphinx factory. That's her again, right? Young.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Yeah, John? Calculation, it's 4 now.
15 minutes?
Yeah, we can do that. So it'll be more. So let's do Akhenaten. I ordered by this. Yes. Here. We will do this first. John, I'll tell him for later.
Yeah, 4:30 even, right. Okay. These are these all come from the Akhenaten court. And there you have Akhenaten himself. And here, less extreme than usually shown. Here, I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. Is courtiers. What does it say here about this? I'm just curious.
It's the girls, daughters of Akhenaten.
Yeah, well, see, this is a weird thing. I mean, I'm not sure who this is. Maybe one of the daughters of Akhenaten with the strangely deformed heads. And nobody knows why. I mean, it's not the kind of deliberate head deformity that you have in certain tribes. South Africa, not South Africa, what am I thinking of? South America? In South America. You can't do that. This is something else again. It's not microcephaly. It's some other damn thing. I mean, the unicorns come up to me and say, "Oh, John, don't." Of course, it's aliens. Everything that they can't understand.
haven't they found skulls like that?
No. They found huge, elongated skulls, but not that weird shape. And then when you see other statues, the courtiers, all with those weird skulls. It's a big mystery. Over here, this is actually an unfinished statue. I think thought to be daughters. No, it didn't say. I think this is thought to be an unfinished statue bust of Nefertiti. I'm not sure. But it's pretty brilliant. I mean, and she's got fly on her. Nobody please want the fly off. I love it. Okay, you know what? It's going to be jammed up in there.
For the whole.
Imagine that you can actually hear, but of course you can. These are cool things I would get to So here's Akhenaten with his full body. He would have had a skirt on or something like that. But you see, you think?
Yeah.
Anyway, to have himself carved that way, it's almost inconceivable that he actually looked like that. The theory that he was having himself portrayed as the androgyne, the fusion of male and female, strikes me as legit. I mean, that's what they were doing in medieval woodcuts and stuff. But it sure is a grotesque. It's a really grotesque representation, and the sculpture itself is rendered very, very beautiful. It's some piece of sculpture. But I really, if that were for sale in an auction, I'd buy it immediately and put it on eBay. But I wouldn't want it in my living room or my garden.
John, you mentioned that all these Akhenaten things came out from Karnak?
I'm not sure if all of them did, but most of them did. From the fill inside the pylon when it got destroyed by the waters rushing through when they cleaned the temple, and they took down the pylon unexpectedly. They weren't intending to do that, and in the pylon they found not just all of these Akhenaten statues, but a lot of other material as well, whole little shrines that had been taken down because they were in the way of the next stage of building. So there was a good side to that. He's a very noisy guy. Let us continue. Okay. This is a stela. This is a stela of Meneptah, who is the 11th son of Ramses the Great, and it's he who follows Ramses on the throne. And in this, Meneptah is talking about all of his great victories and things. And over here, they put a glass over it because everybody used to touch it. That's the highlight. Where's the one that they always come with?
Here.
It's way down there.
Israel.
Yeah, it says it has. Yeah, this is the only bit of circumstantial evidence that there actually was an Exodus, and even that's not really evidence. But the text reads, the seed of Israel has been completely destroyed. That's different than the Exodus, the Jews in captivity and stuff like that. And scholars, if you look, when I was doing my first initial research into Egypt, I was going a lot to the New York Public Library, where they had the big card catalogs. And so there were 4 card catalogs with this much long card catalog devoted to ancient Egypt. And one of them was about the relationship between Christianity and Egypt. including untold numbers of books of who was the pharaoh of the Exodus. But really careful scholarship, recently, and I forget the name of the book, but by one of the academics who's, as usual, immune to the symbolist interpretation, but careful scholar nonetheless, who really ransacked the literature looking for some piece of solid evidence that said there was a Jewish captivity here, and he couldn't find anything, nothing whatsoever. But the Kabbalists actually see the whole of Exodus, the whole story in symbolic terms, and probably they're right. Or it refers, there's another school of thought that sees the Exodus not as referring to Jews captive in Egypt, but rather to a still much earlier period, and it doesn't take place in the Middle East at all. There are various candidates for it. One of those subjects that you can get lost in for a lifetime, but that doesn't actually interest me at all, because it has nothing to do with waking up. As far as I'm concerned, anything that doesn't have to do with waking up is basically a head trip, and not worth the time and effort that goes into it. Okay, let us continue to Tutankhamun Gallery.
You gave them free time to check it out. You can do the shrines.
Now here, in case you were wondering, here you see why I hate to go to the papyrus shop. This is the real article. And initially, when Dr. Raghav reinvented how you grew, made, and painted papyrus, this is what he was doing. He was doing exact copies of these wonderful things. And so now we're in the process. I've had the idea for a long time to come back to do that again, and to carefully copy them. Carlos has been taking some photos, and we have it semi-set up to do this again with the Osiris collection. And my guess is that it won't outsell Lady Gaga or anything like that, but that there is a real market for these, with a little pamphlet by me about what they actually mean. I don't know about you, but I would love to have this one up on a wall somewhere. I think a lot of other people would too. And we're starting out with a couple of them, and then see how difficult it is to do them properly, how much it costs, what we have to sell them for to make something out of it, and then if it works, do a set of them. I think it would be really cool. We'll see. Anyway, stay tuned. Those of you who are not already on my mailing list, get on my mailing list. Easily done with a click. And periodically I'll be sending out updates. What?
Mike said it's a garage.
Yeah, the garage. Stragglers and stragglettes, let's go. Now, these are the golden shrines of Tutankhamun, and they nested one inside the other. You can see if you get just the right angle here, you see the other one sitting inside it, the reflection. And it is thought, now whether or not there were shrines like these in every royal burial, I don't think anyone really knows, because Tutankhamun died so young, and evidently so abruptly, they had to put everything together in a hurry. So it may be that the elaborate decorations and tomb furniture and furnishings that would have prevailed had he lived a longer lifetime were inapplicable, and so they did these. And Bianco, Alexander Bianco, that I mentioned one more time, one of his books that's readily available, and it's a little one, not a giant one, is called The Golden Shrines of Tutankhamun, and they're well worth reading, reading into, because see, they're incredibly complex and, again, semi-incomprehensible, but worth following because you absorb out of them angles on funerary literature. But one of the things that interested me most, somebody pointed this out. Is this figuration here, which to the best of my knowledge is nowhere else. I don't know. Have you seen it anywhere, Sahib?
No, not this one.
This is particular to Tutankhamun. I mean, it's fantastically compact. But you see over here, you see a serpent, coiled cobra, spitting, I mean, it would be venom, but actually, let's say, it's rays of energy into the third eye of the mummified, presumably that's Tutankhamun, into the not it's one of the gods, curved beard. And maybe when he's dead, he's got his curved beard. And here you have the star sending those rays of energy or whatever they are into the third eye, and over here more of the same. Well, that's an indication. Whenever you see a correspondence of stellar energy and human consciousness, you've got to be talking about astrology at some level or another. In other words, the stars have meaning. And you add to that that the stars themselves are supposed to be the souls of dead kings. It takes on a different meaning again. When you look at this, is actually Shock's wife, Katie, came up with the idea, because they're really into this whole idea of coronal mass ejections, and this terrific storm of plasma that devastated the ancient civilization. But the plasma, in other words, when the souls of dead kings maybe should be taken literally. In other words, if the soul, such as it is plasma, is a flux of divine energy, suddenly the whole thing takes on a much less superstitious form. I can't think to it one way or another, but I thought that was a really interesting idea, because otherwise the stars, as you probably know, are supposed to be coagulations of gas that just happen to be floating around in endless space for trillions of years, which somehow or another the scientists are happy to accept as science, but it's probably less scientific than really taking seriously that the stars are in fact the souls, not necessarily just of dead kings, but of realized human beings who are giving back to the universe that which the universe has bestowed upon them in the first place. I'm very happy with that. If others aren't, that's okay. Why are you sitting down?
Permission, huh? Well, you're used to standing up while you're sitting. Did everybody go to this room? Yes?
Yeah.
This is the jury room that has the mask and the golden coffin.
Yeah, everybody went to the jewelry room? No, you didn't?
No.
Well,
Why don't you go for a few minutes and sit until then we continue? Take 5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minute break.
King, Lake Kingdom, he's all in silver, see?
I see.
Gold and silver.
It looks like copper to me.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose it's bit more tarnished.
That is it, man.
Lines. We saw the biggest one, and then they found one after one until the smallest. It had the sarcophagus with 3 coffins. You see 2 here. The mummy is now in the tomb, and the biggest of the 3. It's wooden and gilded. There is the innermost one, the smallest, is solid gold, weighing couple of 100 kilograms of solid gold. Let's go.
Some interesting objects in this little casement here. You see the trumpets, Tutankhamun's trumpets, and somewhere in the 30s they borrowed one of these and gave it to the head trumpeter of the London Symphony. Philharmonic to play. And he did play, and you know what it sounded like? A trumpet. It sounds very nice. Anyway, see, that's something, they could market that. I mean, Tutankhamun trumpets would be a cool thing. The Egyptians have no sense of self-marketing. No sense of, anyway, here they have the walking sticks. That's true, they have the same stuff. Everywhere you go, it's the same rubbish. Somebody would rise up. Anyway, here you see these, you know, standing on, seated on, having the head of something, and the walking stick means, you know, in control of, master. So here, the Egyptians, whether for real or not, but have all the different heads, figureheads of the canes in one or another of the, well, some of the African tribes and some are, I forget who the red-headed one is, but over here, some really telling ones.
John, is it true? These are the enemies, right?
Yeah, those are all the enemies.
They have the hands even tied.
Yeah, and over here, they have this guy here who really looks, and there's one other, but he's disappeared. More extreme than that. There's one that definitely looks Mongolian. This is not that one. I don't know what happened. They might be out on loan or something. But there was one that really looked Oriental, and this is not surprising. I mean, the Egyptians were all over the place, and probably were trading with the Far East as well. It posed no problem for them. Anyway, the one that I'm looking for isn't here. And I seem to recall the last time I was there that it had, you know, maybe on loan somewhere else or went to another museum. I don't know. Over here. Oh, here we go. Cairo.
It's in Tutankhamun, I think.
Let's go. You're on call. What do you think it is? What's what here? One of my guys who was on a trip said this one here, those two were the double bows are corrected for torque.
I've never seen one.
No. Okay, here is one. And then this one, I like this one over here. This one over here, that's shooting mice.
Yeah.
Going mouse hunting.
Yeah, for a kid.
You wanted that size bow.
This one still has some string.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you can see the glue they used to use to glue them together in there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's like this organic glue. They glue layers of wood and bone.
See, this is another thing they could make and sell.
Yeah.
Tutankhamun's bows.
People make these still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah?
Yeah, they do. Like this, but you know, less gold,
Yeah.
more horn.
Less workmanship, I would imagine.
John, I'll add it to our list.
What?
Those. Now you
Those
give me
what?
those. I will do some.
These double ones are awesome. I never saw anything like that.
Oh, right.
It looks like they're supposed to be wrapped, and they're just
Wraps.
right. The double ones. You're not supposed to see that they're double, right?
Ah,
It looks like.
You think they're symbolic or they're for real?
No, double throw,
They're
actually.
for real, yeah.
Yeah,
probably they're for real.
stronger.
Knock the string twice.
Okay,
or
let's
maybe it's
continue.
three
No,
strings.
no. Look at the end of these other ones. They're both half knots.
Stop coming. Buenos Aires,
So this is, I mean, the other chariots are cool chariots, but this really is a chariot fit for a king, all wrapped in gold, and it would be fun to see this in action. It's always thought that this, you see the gear over there, they had an overdrive, but really it's a spur. Okay, let's continue.
Why do you think they don't have floors?
They don't have what?
Floors in the compartment.
No floor. No floor?
Where you would stand.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they must have had one somewhere along those lines. Or
None of them do though. That's
really?
interesting.
Maybe they stood on just on a stretchy thing,
Yeah.
or a plank.
They have a beam in the back. That seems super dangerous.
So this is the canoptic jar for Aegis golden shrine, and the goddesses are protecting them. That with the weaving shuttle is Nate, N-E-I-T-H, who is kind of, she got the equivalent. Who's the virgin goddess of Greece? Is it Athena? Athena, who's the No, Aphrodite is the goddess of love. But I think it's Athena. I know Minerva. Is that? Anyway, she's the equivalent of that. Isis, we know, and Selkit with a scorpion, one of those that I really don't have a bead on. On the other side, they're protecting the king. Over here, the world first hot tub. Too close comfort for me, even with goddesses. I don't know. But actually, you'll notice the difference in the workmanship between the alabaster shop and this. This is extraordinary work. Let's see, over here, oh, they got all of these things down there. The king's underwear. Needed. Disappeared.
Alabaster bath, the top. Oh, really, sir? I'm talking about the beautiful paint of, this is 100 years old paint. And later on, we came and just plastered over it. So all what they do is now, you see, they're scratching the dummy one, and they have the old one coming back. Look how pretty.
Just in time to put
What are they going to use it for?
No, it's the painting.
But no, but what will they use it for after
Yeah.
building? After they move everything out, what are they going to use it for?
No, they're not going to take everything out.
Two museums.
Yeah, this is the umbrella.
funerary bier where the body is prepared for burial. Each one fulfilling a function. I'm not at all sure what function each one represents.
For the three procedures of mummification. One for each one. And actually, look at the hippo. It has beautiful coral tongue and ivory teeth. And the cheetah also is one of the stages. Very nice cheetah.
What time is it?
4:20.
Let's go. Let's just go downstairs.
crowded.
Everybody, hold on. I'm sure you've all been by here before. As usual, we're running out of time, seriously out of time. And we have to be out of here in a few minutes. So there's not that much I have to say. The Tutankhamun stuff, basically, you know, what you see is what you got. And it's mostly the workmanship and the beauty of the individual pieces themselves that's so noteworthy. I mean, this is simple, but boy, is it elegant. And I'd like to have all of these things are absolute masterpieces of alabaster workmanship.
This one is still sealed with the oil, whatever it has. Somehow they figured it was lotus. Who knows?
Some foil.
Yeah. Those,
Yeah, that's amazing. You have one piece of obviously you can spend a lot of time going through this gallery. Where the what's that stuff? Somewhere here.
I don't know, but you see the fan?
No.
What scepters are taken? They should give you one. You deserve one. Maybe I talk to my relative.
That's okay. Many thanks. Yeah, let's go.
John, I'm going to take the bus 10 minutes, yes, or 15?
Yeah, say 15 by the time we get outside.
Sorry.
So this is the only example of this scene. We've seen it a couple of times on Abu Simbel, once or twice, of Set and Horus. They say blessing the king. It's not blessing the king, it's empowering the king, who is in turn reconciling these otherwise irreconcilable principles. And here it says in jackal-headed Set, not jackal-headed, no jackal that looks like that. But I think I explained this. A couple of people came up independently, one a friend of mine and one an Egyptologist who came up with, I thought, a good explanation. If you try to kill Satan, as the church has tried to do, even if you could do it, which you can't, even if you could do it, you'd be left, in fact, with nothing. Without adversity, nothing happens. I mean, creation doesn't happen, but within creation, also nothing happens. If anybody could pick up a violin and play it like a master, there'd be no point playing the violin. There'd be no music. Shakespeare says, "Sweet are the uses of adversity." This is true, and obviously, so I mean, if this is a profoundly esoteric statue here, rendered very beautifully. If all you knew about the philosophy of life was this, and you took it to heart and really thought about it and what it signified, you'd have a very good working philosophy of life. The ability to reconcile the opposite, reconcile opposites wherever you find them, is all you actually have to know in order to lead a very successful and realized life. Anyway, it's great. It's the only one I know of, and it's a very good semi-finale to Egypt. We have 2 more things to go to. And one, unfortunately, I don't have my damn book with me. Read it. Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes, they send things out on loan for years at a time, and they never come back. Over in this casement here was the greatest, most spectacular tower that anybody had ever seen. And this is the late kingdom, 750 or so BC to Alexander's time, and they were openly devoted to recovering the power, the majesty, and the simplicity of the old kingdom. And by and large, they succeeded. I mean, this is a wonderful, this is a masterpiece of a statue here, and there are a few others that are masterful in here. But one that is very odd over here. Over here is a statue of Mentuhotep, priest of Ammon, mayor of Thebes, and counselor. And it says here, the bust was found, what is that, on the right side? Himself portrayed by the artist. Mentuhotep himself portrayed by the artist with unusual features on the left side, his son Nesikhonsu. Anyway, the point is here that these unusual features, it's odd that they should miss this. When I was here, a couple of times I've had Chinese guys on my trip, and I'd say, what does that look like to you? And they say, oh, looks like my grandfather. This is a Chinese guy with the headdress and all. He's the mayor of Thebes. It's late, it's 4th or 5th centuries. 4th or 5th century BC, but this is clearly Chinese, that they should say a man with unusual features. No, it's not unusual in China. I mean, there's walking around the museum at the moment, there are about 6,000 relatives of him. It's funny. One more thing, actually. Look at the room by here, we're looking by here. Okay, everyone, let's go.
Like he's from the Civil War.
Actually, he looks sort of like Ted Turner a bit, doesn't he? Well, this is not bad, but some of the others in this room may qualify. If there were a contest for worst sculpture ever made, some of these would be in the running. This is my favorite. This is Hathor McChicken. I mean, that's breathtaking. And somebody commissioned it and somebody paid for it. And here you see, basically what you see, the message of this room, because there are a few things that are realized pretty well. It's Cobra over here is a pretty good piece. That's not bad at all. Some of the others are most of the others are monstrosities. Normally, I have my damn guidebook with me, because normally I read off a passage. However many of you there are, read it for yourself. There's a passage in the Alexandria section, and a long, couple of pages long, of a prophecy from the Hermetica, which dates from probably around 2nd century or so AD. There's some disputes about that, as about so many other things. And it's Hermes Trismegistus, who is Jehuti, who is thought making a prophecy to his son or grandson, Asclepius, not Asclepius the doctor, about what is coming and what is in store. And he's talking about, oh, Egypt, the time will come when nobody, all your piety will be forsaken and nothing will be left but graven words. And it goes on, it's a brilliant translation. Anyway, I don't know what the origin's like because I can't read whatever language it came from, but the translation, even if the translation is fanciful, it's brilliant. And it's about what happens when a civilization that is based upon spirit and the quest for immortality degenerates into one that is based upon material aims. And it's very moving, and at the end, the prophecy, the prophecy is including even things like the polluted earth and the stars not following their constant course in heaven. That's an interesting bit, maybe referring to earlier times. But the passage, the very air will sicken in sullen stagnation, and the rivers will be poisoned. Everything will be awry, religion will disappear, and even, the wise man will be mocked at, and the good man will be praised as brave. Exactly the rubbish that you see going on. And when all of this has befallen Asclepius, you've got to read it. Everyone has a guidebook, so go to the Alexandria section and read the prophecy. And he says, when all of this has befallen, then God, the first who came into being, etc., 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 will stay the disorder by the counterworking of his will, which is the good, that's Neoplatonic. But in other words, he will bring it back to its former state. In other words, chaos is not permanent. It doesn't have to be permanent in any event. But it's a very powerful piece of writing, and it's incredibly easy to relate it because all of this prophecy stuff, especially relating to environmental and ecological catastrophe, is right there in front of us. We're watching it happen, and we're also watching happen when the worst of the people that we produce get elected to the highest offices by the will of the stupid people. You're living in dire times. So anyway, that's about it. I apologize for not having the damn book with me. I always forget.
Whose prophecy is that?
It's a prophecy of Hermes Trismegistus, which means Hermes the thrice great, who is the Greek form of Jehuti. Yes, and it's a very powerful piece of writing, and very true. And you can't miss it. The scholars like to think that he's really referring to the fall of Rome, but I don't think it is, because the fall of Rome does not include all of those kinds of catastrophes that whoever the prophet is has correctly envisaged. And so read it. As I said, you all have the guidebook, I think. And if you don't have it, you should have it. So go buy it. That's the end of that's the end. Tomorrow's a free day, and we can go to a ball game. We can get drunk, or stoned, we can do all kinds of enjoyable things without having to chat it out all the time. Okay?
And dinner, of course, farewell dinner for
farewell
everyone.
dinner at Andrea, which is a real nice restaurant out in the desert. Excellent chicken. Okay, let us disembarrass ourselves of our walkie-talkies.
I will show you where we dispose them. We give them back. Yalla?
Yalla, let us go.